that we need our neighbors to protect each other right now from the federal government, and we are seeing so many Minnesotans step up and do that. So thank you. I also want to say that I come to this moment as a mom, and it has been a heartbreaking few weeks in Minnesota for parents, kids, caregivers, and frankly, anyone who cares about our common humanity. 2 weeks ago today, a mom in our community, Renee Good, was killed. Many of us across the nation saw the image of her car, a mom's car full of a car seat full of stuffed animals, after she had been shot by an ICE agent. ICE actions across the state have been hurting parents and caregivers, and they're also hurting our kids. Pregnant women have been dragged on the ground. Kids have been taken by ICE and sent to other states. Kids, parents, and teachers have been tear gassed at schools and at homes. Across the Twin Cities, schools have been closed. We don't have snow days anymore, we have ice days, because the risk that ICE proposes to our students is too much for schools to bear right now. Think about that. Students are missing out on days in the classroom because of the threat of violence from federal officers. This is unprecedented, and it's making it clear that ICE is making our communities less safe. And our little ones are not immune from this. The same day that Renee was killed, a beloved teacher at a daycare in my district was abducted by ICE. This comes as daycare centers across our city have been raided and faced death threats. And this comes on top of the normal burden that our childcare centers have of doing the incredible and amazing work of caring for our kids, managing bureaucracy, all with a business model that is untenable and not very profitable. We are calling on Republicans to stop playing political games with our kids' lives. This isn't about a headline or politics. It's about kids and the people who love them. ICE has no place in our schools or our childcare centers. Parents, students, and educators do not want them there. Schools need to be safe places for learning, not targets for ICE violence. The last thing I want to say is to the ICE agents directly. Please leave and stop terrorizing our kids and our families. I have had so many adults and kids ask me, how can we make this stop? When is this going to end? All of the ICE agents, you've had a parent in your life or a caregiver. You might have a kid yourself. You have had people who have loved you and cared for you. For all of those people, please leave our state and help us keep our kids and families safe. I now want to introduce one of the amazing childcare workers who is doing the amazing and incredible work of caring for our littlest kids as we go through this incredibly hard time in our city. And I will now introduce Lauren. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rep. Sensamura. Good afternoon. My name is Lauren. I am a childcare provider. I am also scared, apprehensive, worried, and frustrated. And I'm angry that any of us have to be any of those things. The reason we're feeling these things is because ICE is inflicting them upon us. They want us to believe that they are rooting out dangerous criminals. That is a lie. What they are doing is upending lives and causing untold trauma. My center has not been directly impacted by ICE actions, but we have immigrant families and immigrant employees. The husband of one of our employees was stopped and searched by ICE with no probable cause. They searched the entire car. But I want people to understand that every single childcare center is being impacted, whether we were in the Nick Shirley video or not, or whether we serve immigrant families or not. Because our own Speaker of the House, Lisa DeMuth, invited a 23-year-old YouTuber to investigate fraud, hundreds of childcare centers have received countless harassing phone calls filled with racist attacks. Hundreds of childcare centers have frightened parents and teachers. We have to strengthen all of our protocols, and we've had to write entirely new protocols for if ICE enters our building. And we've had to try to answer questions from our staff, which is nearly impossible. My job is to support our teachers. It is incredibly frustrating not to be able to do that job. I just don't have any answers. They want to know if we're going to be okay with the federal funding cuts and if they will still have their jobs, and I don't know. There is so much uncertainty and fear by design, and it's designed to make us tired so we don't fight back. But I am angry that we are living like this. I am angry that people who look a certain way are in danger of being kidnapped off the street or from their workplaces or homes. I am angry that my staff of color are scared. I am angry that they have to walk around with their passports. And I am very angry that ICE agents continue to break the law. They are doing illegal things every day. Where is the accountability for the illegal actions they are taking and the terror they're inflicting? We know they're doing illegal things like violating constitutional rights and even swapping license plates. Why aren't we arresting them? They have shown that they do not care. They have shown that a strongly worded letter will not change their minds. They have shown that they are content to murder a mother before our very eyes. I'm exhausted, and this is also very heavy, but I will fight back. And our families and teachers will fight back, and our community members will fight back until we get ICE out of Minnesota. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for joining us. We'll go to Commissioner Angela Conley next.
Thank you, Council Member. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angela Conley, Hennepin County Commissioner. I represent the south side of Minneapolis, Fort Snelling, parts of downtown Southeast Minneapolis, and the University of Minnesota. And I want to recognize that we are not okay right now. And Hennepin County is mobilizing our mental health support, emergency mental health support, because if you are not okay, I want to speak directly to you right now. The county not only operates emergency mental health supports for adults, but we also have been receiving numerous requests for school-based mental health, which is something that we also provide. Our 24-hour call center is a crisis line for mental health support. There's a lot going on around us. It is heavy. What we are seeing and what we are experiencing is taking a toll on our physical, spiritual, and mental health. This crisis center that we have is also mobile. It's mobile for adults and children, and it's mobile for any neighbor who needs it 24 hours a day. Mental health stabilization services and our traumatic event response team are activated in this moment. Mental health professionals will connect with you any time of day, and the call center provides triage and assessment, and we are connected with the city and the school board as well. So we have the maximum amount of coordination happening right now. Family response and stabilization services, this is what the county oversees, and they actually have a responsive community-based model that serves youth and families. Again, that is 24 hours a day as well. We operate in multiple different languages, English, Spanish, and Somali, and Hmong. I want to give you a couple of phone numbers right now, so please write this down. The COPE call center is 24 hours a day. That is mobile crisis response. That is 612-596-1223. Again, 612-596-1223. Family response stabilization services. This is for adults and youth experiencing crisis or need assistance. That phone number, 24 hours a day, is area code 612-979-9511. Again, 612-979-9511. Hennepin County is the public health authority for most of the cities within the county, 45 of them. We are the public health response for most of them. And we understand that this moment, this Operation Metro Surge, is devastating to our livelihoods, devastating to our morale and our ability to show up. We are also making sure that we have resources available to show up to you when you are unable to show up to us. And that includes family home visiting. That includes making sure that you're able to make it to your doctor's appointments. We are on standby, organized, and mobilized to make sure that all residents of this county impacted by this occupation are well taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Conley. Next, we'll go to School Board Chair Colin Beachy.
Yes, thank you, Council Member. Good afternoon, everyone. I do have some notes that I want to kind of review, and then just a couple of things to wrap up. But I initially want to start by echoing what Senator Clark had said about getting to know your neighbors, and I would say, in particular, reach out to those neighbors who have children. Senator Mira is correct. Our schools are essential parts of our communities, and when our communities are suffering, the schools feel it, and that means our children are feeling it. And I just want to thank everyone, for our community partners, for all of their support. that they have been doing. Commissioner Conley, thank you for acknowledging that our children are needing that mental health, those mental health supports, and we will ensure that our schools and families are aware of what some of those supports are. Just to quickly review, so last week we utilized what authority we were able to have with MDE, the Department of Education, with the Minnesota Online Instruction Act, and we were able to provide an online option for those students who felt that was best for them. And there's about 6,000 or so students who have done so. And so again, I want to thank our community partners who have been working with us to ensure that those students are getting their meals delivered to them on a regular basis. For those of us those students who are in place and are in schools, understand that we are working with them daily, checking in on them, how they are feeling. And we do have clear protocols in place in case there is any sort of immigration enforcement action our schools, and I want to thank our emergency management and safety staff who are being as vigilant as they have ever been to be protecting our schools. And I just can't say enough about our counselors and social workers in the way that they have stepped up and been a solid, place of support for our students. I want to reiterate too, just about the school board. We are supportive of the action being taken with the legal lawsuit to ask ICE to leave our city and to, like I said the other day, just to leave our kids alone. What's best for our kids is normalcy, and that's what's best for our community as well. And schools need what's happening right now to stop. Our kids are not okay, and we need to do better for them. And I just really want to thank everyone who stepped up, and especially I need to thank our teachers, ESPs, leaders, and everyone who is playing a role in supporting our students. We are once again showing why public education is the foundation of our community. And as a school board, on behalf of everyone on the board, I just want to remind everybody that we are with you. And parents, if you have any questions specifically, please reach out to your schools. If we as a school are not able to provide that support directly for you, we will get you in contact with someone who can. Stay strong, everyone. We will get through this. And we're showing who we are as Minnesotans, and I'm just so proud to see everyone stepping up in the way that they are. And we're with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair Beachy. So I represent the south side of Minneapolis. I represent the neighborhoods of Cooper, Longfellow, Howe, Hiawatha, Minnehaha, and we also share a border to Powderhorn, Corcoran, and also have Standish Erickson in our neighborhoods. And I come into this moment as the eldest daughter of Bengali immigrants, working class immigrants, and my day-to-day is spent with a whistle around my neck and a passport in my pocket. Have been having a lot of conversations, of course, with my constituents, but also with my family, just to share the real life impact. I have family members who are unable to come to special celebrations and moments in my family because they're so scared of being stopped by ICE just for the color of their skin. And it's really heartbreaking that people just in our city, for what they look like, for where they come from, are unable to feel safe just moving around. And I really encourage community members right now to reach out to the ACLU, to reach out to Monarca and get Know Your Rights trainings, get a legal observation training so you can help look out for your neighbors. And I thank every person that has been bravely doing that in this moment. I also have spent a lot of time with constituents who have responded to either their loved one being detained by ICE or being a community member who saw someone that was detained by ICE, whether it was because they were immigrant or because they were doing legal observation and their vehicles are just left on the street unattended, either in the middle of the street, in the corner of the street. Even this morning, I had to work with a neighbor whose husband was detained for doing legal observation, had his window smashed in, and just want to share what the protocol is if this occurs for you. The protocol is please call 911. Please talk to the 911 dispatcher. They will ask you questions. They're prepared for phone calls of this nature. And then I suggest filing a police report. An officer will come out and your vehicle may need to be towed by a private tow. If it's in the middle of the road, the city of Minneapolis will likely help with that. But if it is taken to the tow yard, if you're a representative of the individual that was detained, a family member, the individual yourself, you can request your car to be given back to you, released to you at no cost. Just share that it was due to immigration detention. Brings me great sadness that this is an update that I have to give. But this is a reality right now here in Minneapolis, and encourage other jurisdictions to reach out and take up a similar model if this is occurring for you as well. A positive update that I want to share off the ground is that every morning I have been joining different school sites during school drop-off. And even yesterday in sub-zero temperatures, even today in sub-zero temperatures, community members are there at school sites. They're making sure kids are getting dropped off safely. They're making sure that there's a watchful eye on every corner, and also hosting different food banks and food shelves at different school sites. And so I really, really encourage, if you're a parent or a community member, to get connected with your local school site. If you're outside of the city of Minneapolis, that's a really powerful way to organize. A lot of our families in different schools are ensuring that the more vulnerable families that are unable to leave their home are supported. And so that is a way to plug in. Food shelves are very much in need right now. And so you can look to your local school site to see if they have a place where they would like to get directed donations, or you can direct food donations to your local food shelf. The need is really, really high right now. This Friday, in the state of Minnesota, and especially in Minneapolis, is the Day of Truth and Freedom, January 23rd. And on that day, community members, unions, faith leaders, elected officials, local organizations, or small businesses are calling on Minnesotans to not shop, not go to work, and not go to school, and come together in solidarity to stand against this ICE occupation and show that we're united together as a community in solidarity for the neighbors who have been taken, unlawfully detained, and harmed through this brutal ICE occupation. We're going to come together, stand in solidarity. There's going to be a place for us to stand in solidarity in downtown at 2 p.m. Encourage everyone to stay safe as they're joining in on this. And I am really, really grateful to the several workers in our community, the educators, the local organizations, the local businesses that have supported this Day of Truth and Freedom. And I look forward to being out there with you. Another update that I want to give is that in a lawsuit filed by the ACLU Minnesota, December 17th, a federal judge in Minnesota has restricted how ICE agents can act against protesters and observers during this ongoing Operation Metro Surge, a large immigration enforcement effort in the Twin Cities. The judge's injunction bars agents from retaliating against arresting, detaining, or using force for chemical irritants on peaceful protesters unless there's evidence of a crime or obstruction. It also limits vehicle stops of people who are simply observing for following agents at a safe distance. Obviously, this is not enough. We need ICE out immediately and gone from the state of Minnesota for good, but this is a really, really important step. And if community members experience this type of retaliation, arrest, detainment, or use of force, please reach out to the ACLU Minnesota directly, and they will work with you in filing a complaint. In Minneapolis and St. Paul, we have joined a federal lawsuit, filed a federal lawsuit with Attorney General Keith Ellison against the Department of Homeland Security and related agencies and officials, asking the court to end this unprecedented surge of ICE agents into our state and declare it unconstitutional and unlawful. This is really, really about us as a state and a city safeguarding our ability to protect our community's well-being and get some accountability for all the harm that has been done over the last few weeks, and also hold the federal government accountable for violating basic constitutional protections. On January 14th, the judge assigned our lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security for additional briefings for both parties. Briefings are due this week, and we'll anticipate hearing very soon from the judge. And we're asking the judge to end this dangerous surge of federal immigration enforcement. That's a formal request, and that a decision on that request has not been made yet. Another resource that I want to highlight from the city of Minneapolis is a virtual resource center. You can go to minneapolismn.gov/federal. This is a place where community members can take a look at several resources around rent and eviction assistance, mental health resources, domestic violence resources, resources around food and housing. As a Minneapolis City Council, we are still calling on Governor Walz to institute an eviction moratorium and also work on this issue of rental assistance, as we know that February 1st is quickly approaching. I want to say to Minneapolis residents, we have a policy in place that states that you have a 30-day period before an eviction notice for non-payment of rent. So if you're not able to pay your rent on time, you have a 30-day notice period of time to work to get resources, to connect into emergency rental assistance resources before eviction proceedings will begin. The last thing that I want to highlight that has been a lot of news is that Governor Walz and Mayor Frey are being investigated by the Department of Justice. This is a wholly unprecedented act, and they both have been subpoenaed. And I think it's really important to be clear that this is an act of the federal government weaponizing its power to intimidate local leaders for doing their jobs, for doing our jobs of speaking out and standing up for our communities, for upholding policies like our separation ordinance, saying that we're not going to use our limited resources as a city that we use to give out basic city services and protect our residents for the work of immigration enforcement or whatever this cruelty is. And we should not have a country in which people are living in fear of federal law enforcement for simply speaking their voice and using their First Amendment rights, for simply disagreeing with the federal government. And so I just say that as a city of Minneapolis, as a council member, we see that this is clearly wrong, and we're not going to be made to be afraid. We're not going to stop doing our jobs. We're not going to stop speaking out. And we encourage every single person in this moment to continue using their First Amendment rights, to be safe, to be vigilant. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that's listening on today. We'll have more updates coming on to the future. We will continue to do these Metro Ice Out briefings until there is no longer a need for it. And we are all hoping there will be a time where we can sunset this, but we're going to be here for you until that time comes. You'll see different elected officials and other public servants come onto here to give more topical and timely updates as things are evolving really quickly. And we also encourage you to reach out to us directly, especially if we are your elected representative, whether we're your council member, your school board member, your county commissioner, your state representative. Please do reach out to us. We will not be doing a briefing this upcoming Friday in solidarity with the Day of Truth and Freedom, but we will be coming back on Monday, January 26th, to do our next Metro Ice Out briefing. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.